Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Good morning, December 31st, the last day of 2012. I'm Matt Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. You're waking up to Ken's 5 Eyewitness News at 4:30. Here are this morning's top headlines. Right now, law enforcement is stepping up patrols to stop illegal fireworks within the city.
Local teachers hit the punching bags with free classes and self-defense in hopes of protecting their classroom.
And the countdown to the fiscal cliff nears zero. We'll have the latest on the efforts to get the deal done before the clock strikes midnight. But again, good Monday morning to you. Again, it's New Year's Eve. Any big plans for tonight?
Yes, sometime, we'll spend some time with the family, bring in the new year that way. Good morning, Paul.
And happening now, local Red Cross disaster teams are assisting the victims of two fires that happened this past weekend. The first began in an apartment chimney in the 800 block of Shiley on the city's east side early Sunday morning. Now we're told two people lost their apartments. The second fire destroyed a mobile home in Poteet that left three people without a home. With the Newtown school massacre still fresh in people's minds, the San Antonio Self-Defense Studio is now offering free instruction in hopes of preventing another tragedy.
Yeah, Gary Cooper shows us how local teachers are becoming the students when it comes to learning how to protect their classrooms.
Well, we're just hours away from going over the proverbial fiscal cliff, and the two sides still don't appear to be any closer to a deal. If Republicans and Democrats can't come to an agreement, then taxes will go up on all Americans beginning January 1st, and there will be deep spending cuts to just about every government agency. The talks will resume this morning with Vice President Joe Biden now taking the lead for the Democrats and Mitch McConnell taking the lead for the GOP. And former President George H.W. Bush remains in a Houston hospital this morning, but he's now out of intensive care. We're being told his condition is improving. According to a Bush family spokesperson, the 88-year-old former president was moved into a regular hospital room on Saturday. Bush was first hospitalized back on November 23rd for a bronchitis-related cough. And a charter bus plunges off a snowy embankment, killing 9 people. We'll hear from a firefighter first at the scene. 441 now happening now. Investigators are trying to determine if alcohol was a factor in this head-on crash on the city's far southwest side. Both drivers had to be rescued from their pickup trucks with the jaws of life. It happened on New Laredo Highway and Plumnier Road around 8 last night. Both drivers were taken to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers say they found beer containers in both vehicles. Well, 9 people are dead this morning after a bus crashed in Oregon.
Yeah, their charter bus smashed through a guardrail on a steep mountain pass. Kai Porter has more from the first emergency responders to arrive on the scene.
Well, the New Year's holiday has CPS Energy closing its customer service centers today. We'll tell you how you can still get help from the utility in an emergency. And welcome back. CPS Energy is closed today and tomorrow for the New Year's Eve holiday. However, emergency services are still in operation. The Public Utilities 4 customer service centers and call center will resume their regular schedules Wednesday morning. Any customers within the city who experience a natural gas or electric emergency can still call 353-HELP. Rural customers can call 1-800-870-1006. And the Houston Texans were playing for home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but on Sunday, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts 28-16. The 12-4 Texans will enter the playoffs as a number 3 seed. They take on the Cincinnati Bengals this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. in Houston.
Well, I'm happy for the Texans. Let's go back to the Cowboys.
What's your take there, Paul?
I think Romo giveth and Romo taketh away.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was a heart-wrenching game yesterday.
He can't. That guy cannot win the big game.
I've come to conclude. I've always been a Romo supporter, but I've come to the conclusion he is not a winner. Has all the stats in the world, but cannot win the big game.
We love our Cowboys, but they just break our heart, don't they?
Yeah, I tell you, the game's not over till Romo says it's over.
Well, the struggling economy may put a damper on some New Year's Eve celebrations tonight. It seems even the richest of Americans are looking to scale back. A poll of millionaires found that 87% plan to spend less than $200 on New Year's Eve. 3% say they don't plan to party at all. And millions of smokers are making their New Year's resolution to kick the habit. But the Centers for Disease Control estimates less than 10% will be successful. Doctors say it takes a smoker 5 or 6 tries before they end up stopping for good. Kim and Kanye, they're going to deliver some big news to their friends, family, and fans. We'll tell you what's up next. Well, 4:53 and 50 degrees. It may be time for a shotgun wedding. Reality TV star Kim Kardashian and rapper Kanye West are expecting a baby. The two have been dating for about 8 months. However, Kardashian is still legally married to NBA player Chris Humphries. Her new boyfriend, Kanye, announced the good news at a show Sunday in Atlantic City. The congratulatory tweets spread fast from the Kardashian family members, including Kim's mom and sisters. And 4:57, today is the last day to enter to win a free Mi Casa home makeover. Great Day SA is looking for candidates who could really use a boost. Log on to KENS5.com to enter to win or nominate someone you know.
4:57, officials put the New Year's Eve ball through one final test on Sunday ahead of tonight's countdown on 2013.
That's right. Take a look at this.
3, 2, 1, Happy New Year!
Everything appears to be working as planned. The 12,000-pound ball will rise 130 feet. Nearly 2,700 Waterford crystals cover the surface of the ball, which is lit by more than 32,000 LED lights.
Yeah, officials say this year's ball is 88% more efficient than previous versions. That's amazing. Have you ever been to Times Square during New Year's?
You know, I did when I was about 20 years old. I couldn't get quite to Times Square. I got about a half a mile away, but I saw about half the ball on the side of the building drop, and it was glorious.
I worked in New York for about 4 years, and I was there covering that. But that's always amazing. What I think is really amazing, though, even more so, the people who actually go to Times Square for this celebration have to get there, I want to say, around noontime.
Yeah, we got there about 7 p.m. and couldn't even get within about a mile of the square.
Good luck if you have to use the restroom, right?
Exactly. It was a lot of fun, though. So.
All right, that's it for us at 4:30. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.
KENS 5 Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Happening now, an 18-wheeler is stuck under a bridge at 410 and 35.
Hillary Clinton is being closely monitored with a blood clot in a New York hospital.
And it's the end of an era. Newsweek has released its last magazine that will be physically printed.
That's going to be a little different now to see newsstands without Newsweek on it.
I know. I have read that magazine for years. It's one of my favorites. Great journalism.
And good morning on this New Year's Eve, Monday, December 31st. I'm Matt Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. Thank you so much for joining us. Those are our top stories. But first, it's raining outside. It's a drizzly New Year's Eve. Paul, are we going to have to take our umbrellas to watch the fireworks stand at the tower? It's a much-needed dose of good news for Texas. A win at the Alamo Bowl. David Ash threw 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes to give Texas a comeback victory over number 15 Oregon State. The Longhorns never led until the last 2 minutes of the game after a touchdown catch by Marquise Goodwin. Final score, Texas 31, Beavers 27. The victory came as Texas went into the game distracted and with lots of questions following the suspension of 2 players amidst a sexual assault investigation. And the Texans are still contenders in the playoffs, but they're not looking so hot this morning. That after being stomped on by the Indianapolis Colts 28-16. The Texans will now face off against the Cincinnati Bengals on Saturday at the AFC wildcard round. Kickoff is at 3:30 in Houston. And former President George H.W. Bush's health condition has improved this morning. He's being moved out of the intensive care unit into a regular patient's room at Methodist Hospital in Houston. Doctors were initially treating him for bronchitis and a cough. The 88-year-old was preparing to go home until developing a fever and other complications last week. Hundreds of mourners gathered to pay their respects to 2 New York firefighters killed on Christmas Eve. Despite the snow, they waited in long lines. Michael Ciparini and Thomas Kachuka were ambushed and killed as they battled a blaze in upstate New York. The gunman later took his own life with a gunshot to the head. One of my favorite magazines. Let's talk a little bit more about that truck that Marvin was talking about, especially over real close to 410 and 35, kind of where Randolph and Windcrest kind of all meet up right there. And again, that's kind of real close to that 410-35 interchange, and that's going to be a problem for a lot of people, especially right in that area near Randolph and Windcrest, right in that area of that interchange. If we look outside on our TransGuide camera that's right in that area, you can see it's right there under that underpass. So it's, as Marvin was saying, it's blocking off one of those lanes. lanes, but you can see it's very slick out there on the roadways. If we take one of our other TransGuide cameras, even real close to 35 in Olympia, a lot of mist out there on the roadways. It's very slick out there. I noticed that myself as I was kind of coming in this morning. So we're just going to have to be really careful as you're making your way in and around. I know a lot of people are still off today, this morning, but just be very cautious on the roadways because they are very slick. It's kind of drizzly, kind of misty out there. Paul, how long can we expect that to stick around for today? 517 and 50 degrees. Local teachers are getting a helping hand when it comes to protecting their classrooms with free self-defense training.
All right, how's it looking out there this morning, man?
You know, I'm starting to see that fog that you've kind of been talking about and some of that drizzle out there. Of course, we're dealing with that problem with that tanker, kind of that big rig kind of over at 410 and 35, right in that area, real close to the Randolph and that Windcrest area. So just be a little bit cautious out there on the roadways. If you look at that camera shot over at 35, real close to Randolph, again, it's kind of underneath the underpass, and it's only blocking one lane at this point, but as Marvin was saying, they're kind of waiting for that, I guess they said like a King Kong tow truck to kind of get that semi-truck out of there. So we'll kind of keep our eyes on that. But if we look at one of our other TransGuide cameras, we're close to 10 at Frio, heading in towards the downtown area. You're starting to see that layer of mist and fog kind of settling in just a little bit this morning. So just give yourself, again, a couple of extra minutes and just know that the roadways are very, very slick out there this morning. Matt. Well, a dramatic video has just been released of a plane crash that killed 4 people in Russia. Take a look at this video from a car driving down a highway at the exact moment of the crash. The plane overshot a runway, ran through a fence, and ended up slamming into a highway. The pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and a flight attendant were killed, and 4 others were seriously injured. Officials say the plane was carrying only 8 crew members. Well, 524 now, caught on tape, heart-pounding video of a rescue at a frozen lake.
Yeah, plus a baby geared up and heading down a snowy slope. Here's Marvin Hurst with News on the Move.
And Corey is 21 today. Happy birthday from your mom. And Matthew turns 18. Also, happy birthday from your dad. And Jason, 13 years old. Nice and big. And Zoe, celebrating her 3rd birthday today. You can always make your loved one feel special on their birthday by emailing us. Their picture, name, and age is always optional to eyewitness@kens5.com.
I always thought birthdays on New Year's Eve is a great day to celebrate because it becomes an all-day celebration.
That's right. And everybody is celebrating your birthday along with you.
Yeah, and it may be far enough from Christmas where you're okay.
And you get presents on New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like that. Hey, we'll talk more about the New Year's Eve forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, perfect. Stay with us. We'll be right back.